mean, so I guess I will say that that's the difference that we talked about with the Kelly Link edit and the Your style like grand edit. Like I do kind of do the beginning conversation of like, let's look at the big blocks, but like I feel like the thing that I like doing the most is the very detailed line edit, and the line edit that is so I mean it's fairly typical for a novel length work to come out of it with like and my style is usually by the time I get to that stage, I will edit the book in track changes and then hand it over to the author and say, all of this is up for debate, reject things, or a lot of questions that are sort of like, this is what I thought, or like, I don't understand what's going on here. Can you find a different solution? And just engaging with the fact that I think that something is not quite right, and either maybe this solution, maybe you'll find another solution. So it's fairly typical to have 4,000, 5,000 like changes in the text that are micro level, comma changes, vocabulary changes, and often, I mean, like several hundred, 500 to 1,000 comments in a book. And some of them are as simple as, hey, I changed this, is this okay? Or I changed this because, or hey, maybe think about the repetition in this, and most of the time, I guess the difference in this process is that with a lot of authors, I will get back maybe like 30 comments that are
unresolved.
I don't know, like here's my thought process here, or like, what do you think of this? And like with Ben, it was probably half or most of the comments.
In my defense, I tried to send it. I realized that I was.
There's good reasons for it.
No, but I just want to say I know myself. I know that I'm that it's complicated, and so I did send back the text in a shippable state. I was basically like, I have accepted all the things that I accept. I have rejected all the things I reject. I have made all the changes that I think answer what you're saying. You don't have to look at the comments. You could just take this. I'm okay. I have approved this document. But now here are all the other things. And a lot of times what my comments were was I was like, you've made this objection. I don't like your proposed solution. I'm trying to accommodate you. Here are my 3 proposed alternatives, and here's why they're all different. So, it was like I tried to set it up so admittedly, if you're going to engage with every comment, it's a lot of work, but also it's sort of like a multiple choice thing where I was like, I'm giving you 3 options. You can drop one in. You don't have to ask me again. So I tried to make it, as much as I am high maintenance, I tried to make it a manageable, and I think both of us were just very interested in it being right on that level of like, it's a very dense book that's doing a lot of, like, it matters if you use the wrong word in a place, because there's a lot of time. I mean, a lot of the process of revisions was, I mean, the thing with the translation was partly noticing that I was talking about from even the prehistory of this, was partly noticing like, oh, they wouldn't use that word. Like they have no, like you can't translate this, like these are the insults that they would use. An insult in a society has to be based on something that's charged or taboo. And there are things that are charged and taboo in our society that are not charged and taboo in their society. If you simply take the insults from our society and use them there, that doesn't make any sense because they wouldn't have those feelings. So you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of like,
yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, every phase of the process was fun and interesting. It's also deep work and hard work, beyond where, every edit like sort of requires a lot of attention, but often it's more at the level of, let's make this sound good. And this was at the level of like world invention.
It's interesting. Like I've worked with a lot of editors over the years, and I wouldn't say it correlates necessarily to like how big the house is or anything like that. It's more the individual editor's approach and temperament. And, I like when I wrote for HarperCollins, the book had gone through, it was my dissertation book. So I'd had my advisor had looked at it and my committee and so on. So it had gone through a lot of revision work, and it got to them in pretty clean shape, right? And they didn't end up essentially making any edits, like almost nothing. They suggested a name change, and we had an argument about whether to italicize words, which I won. And but it took a while, and that was it. They basically kind of took it as is. Whereas I think it was when I was writing for with Ellen Kushner on the cereal box Tremontaine work, we had a editor on that project who was very much every comma look at, every, like just very detailed, and every line has like annotations going through. And I have to admit, I find that almost exhausting. Like that's a little tough for me. Jed is editing me now, and he asked, like what level of comments I want, and Jed can be a very
Jed loves to talk about
detail-oriented.
semicolons.
Yes, and I told him, please just fix it all in terms of like the punctuation and stuff. I am not emotionally attached to it, and if you think it's better a different way, just do that. You don't need to check it with me. I don't need Microsoft Word comments on it. If you can just ask the things that are real questions, that would
I think that is
ideal.
I think that's a more common way to be, but I am definitely the person who will like have strong opinions about. We had a lot. There were many. I think of those 1,000 comments, a not insubstantial portion are about commas.